Hello my friends, and welcome back to another Brotato Danger 5 random run, where we take a random character, random weapon, and try to beat Danger 5 with it. Hope you're all doing well. Let's see what the game has for me today. We've got the Buccaneer, which I've already done, so let's go ahead and re-roll that, and we've already done the Golem as well. And the Mage, we have not yet done, so Mage is what we're going to do next. We're currently on a 93 win streak, meaning that we are 3/4 of the way through winning with every character with random weapons on both maps, and we've done a couple different Mage runs, but let's see what we get this time. We've got Lightning Shiv, which I believe I've done already. Let me check that. And it turns out we actually have not, so let's jump in with Mage with Lightning Shiv. This is a really fun one. Surprised I haven't done this run yet, so let's go ahead and give it a go. Obviously, the fire from the Scared Sausage is not going to be as important to this run because we have, instead, the elemental damage from the lightning. So we can use that. Let's go ahead and roll here. I'm looking for harvesting, and then I'm going to roll again. I'll roll one more time, and we can finally pick up some harvesting. Manage to grab a lightning shiv here, and we will lock Scar, and then re-roll. Lumberjack shirt is a nice one in some ways, but also a little bit weak in other ways, because one of the things with lightning shiv is you want to be able to attack enemies to bounce things off of. One of the types of enemies that's really good to bounce the lightning off of is a tree, which if you have a lumberjack shirt, you can't do. On balance, though, I think it's still better to grab the lumberjack shirt because it will help us clear trees faster with our relatively low damage, and also it synergizes if we get Pocket Factory, which is definitely a strategy that we could end up using for this character. Using Pocket Factory to spread Scared Sausage fire across the map increases your damage output dramatically on the Mage. Playing Mage with melee weapons is definitely harder than playing it with ranged weapons, because you simply don't have a ton of upfront damage. Your damage is dealt slowly over time. Even with Lightning Shiv, where the bounces sort of make up for that, but not entirely, because the actual melee attacks from the Shivs don't do that much damage. Let's go ahead and re-roll again here and pick up some harvesting, and then we will roll for more Lightning Shivs. Lightning Shiv, not a terribly cheap weapon, but we are at least able to find 4 of them and lock a 5th, which is certainly not a bad position to be in. I think Mage is one of the more difficult characters for random weapon challenges because Shotgun is really bad, SMG is really bad. There's a couple weapons that are just quite difficult to play with the Mage because obviously you can't build ranged damage, so getting one of the guns that requires high ranged damage in order to function normally is very challenging. We're leaving a lot of materials on the ground. That's not something I'm that worried about right now. It's just gonna happen, but of course we'll want to address that eventually if possible. Take some harvesting here. Lifesteal is fairly nice for Lightning Shiv. We're gonna be doing a lot of attacking all over the map. Or I could roll for harvesting. I think I am just gonna roll again to try to get my economy online, but a level 2 speed upgrade I will take. We'll buy all of these, and unfortunately I'm 1 material short of being able to reroll. That's really unfortunate, so maybe that reroll looking for harvesting was bad there. Obviously, I would have had to memorize the cost of my items that we had locked in the shop, which I didn't do. And honestly, you do not need to do that, but if I wanted to not accidentally overspend there, then I could have done that, I suppose. Not recommended strategy. This game does not require you to do that level of accountancy. Go here and break that tree. And we've managed to pick up a decent amount of income here. So Mage was changed. You can now use engineering. It used to have only 50, or used to have minus 100% engineering modifiers. Now you only have minus 50%. So you can use the items that work with both elemental damage and engineering together, so we could consider taking the pencil. That said, I don't have any synergy with that yet, so no need to do that. I'm going to roll here. The 2 armor would be nice, the regen would be nice, but ideally we could pick up some harvesting, so we're going to roll a couple times, and then we'll grab 2 harvesting. I could take, no, we can't take melee damage, of course, we're the Mage. You normally can take melee damage for your Lightning Shivs, but as the Mage, not recommended. I'm going to take the 1 armor here just to make sure that we've got some of that going. Leveling Lightning Shiv is really important. This is a weapon that benefits tremendously from levels because the extra bounces are extremely useful. So very happy to get a couple levels there. We'll take the duct tape. Obviously does not make us tankier now, but should in the long run. Whistle I will take, and Weird Ghost. We don't currently have any way to heal, but we can prioritize picking up a little bit of regeneration, or just rely on consumable heal to offset the Weird Ghost penalty, which is fine. Nice. Gotten a few crates with 0 luck so far, so that part's going well. I'm gonna run over here and actually pick that up, since I tanked a hit. And we do only have 13 max HP currently, so I need to be a little bit careful about my health. Trying to kill these loot aliens can be a little challenging for this character because the actual damage from your attacks is not that high. So focusing damage on specific enemies can be very difficult, but we did manage to get that one. Take the penguin, grab a weird food, that's perfect, and then, yeah, we'll just take 3 regen, we're up to 4 regeneration. Now we can definitely afford to buy the weird ghost. We will buy all of these items as well. And do I want another penguin or another weird food first? I think I'm going to take the penguin. We've got weird ghost, so I want just the flat regeneration, and then we can use that in order to heal up and not have to play too risky. One thing about Lightning Shiv is that because the projectile does elemental damage, it's not going to apply the fire that frequently because it just kills the enemy that it hits a lot of the time. And Scared Sausage was changed to where the enemy that you hit has to survive in order to be set on fire, which sounds like it doesn't matter, but actually does, because it means that previously you could set an enemy who had was in the process of dying, was struck by lethal damage on fire, and then the snake would spread that fire to other enemies, and so you could kill enemies. But that was changed, so now if you one-tap an enemy, Scared Sausage plus Snake will never have an effect. Treasure map, an incredible find, obviously. Very, very happy to grab a treasure map this early. That should be a ton of economy. Attack speed would be really nice. Harvesting is still pretty good. I'm just going to take 5 harvesting here, and then 7 crit chance, really good. 2 armor, also great, but I think we'll just take the crit chance. We have a precise weapon, works very well, so Lightning Shiv works very well with critical chance, and we're just going to go ahead and grab that. The bounces can critically hit, so getting high crit chance will just increase our damage across the map significantly. Toxic Sludge, excellent. That's our first elemental damage that we've actually found. And we've got a Broken Mouth and a Weird Food here. And then another Snake I'll take for sure. Mutation as well. And another Weird Food. I mean, if we get this much consumable heal, that's really good for this character. I do want attack speed, but we're going to pass on Small Magazine. It's a very inefficient way to buy it. So you can buy it on characters that aren't ranged, but we don't need it that badly for this character yet. I think we should have the damage to clear the slashers, so I'm going to let a couple of them spawn. Some of them will just be killed by the lightning bounces anyways, so we don't have to worry about them too much. But our lightning damage is very high, especially once the bounces start coming back. The really important thing about this weapon is that when you get it to level 2, you can attack an enemy, have the lightning bounce to another enemy, and then have it bounce back to the enemy you attack. So once you're level 2, you can actually hit enemies for real damage just with your melee attacks, which wasn't possible at previous levels. I did see that loot alien right at the end there, but unfortunately it was too late. I'll definitely take the attack speed, and we'll just grab 8 more harvesting. Take a coupon, we will grab another snake, weird food, and mutation, and then roll. We currently have no luck, so the pearl is not particularly exciting. I think what we're going to do here is take the Scar and the Turret. Obviously, we want Ice Cube. All of our damage is elemental damage, so this is a huge boost to our damage, but I want to grab the Scar first, because it's a good economy item. Do I want the Pearl with 0 luck? It would be a pure investment play, so we could potentially get more Pearls out of boxes. It'll start giving us damage with any luck that we buy. But I don't know that we can heavily prioritize luck at this point, so I think we're just going to roll past the Pearl. Unfortunately, we can't take wheat. Losing 2 elemental damage is too painful, but I'll do another reroll here and lock a lightning shiv. We also have +6 consumable heal, so we can grab the alien worm for sure. We need HP and regeneration or lifesteal, so either of those is a great find. Turret, of course, we're taking, even though we're not an engineering build, because we have Scared Sausage, so the turret can apply the Scared Sausage burning. Any enemies that it sets on fire will take a bunch of damage, though our elemental damage and percentage damage are both quite weak at this point. We definitely need to boost those. I will say one thing that we are struggling with somewhat is that a lot of our damage comes from our high critical chance, which doesn't apply to our burning damage, of course. Let's go ahead and set this loot alien on fire if we can. Make sure that it's at least slowly ticking out. Can we get the damage on it? Yes, we did. All right, kill that tree. I really wanted to kill the other tree, but I wasn't quite able to. Lost Duck, losing elemental damage is still too bad, so we have to recycle that. I will take the attack speed here. Baby Gecko's going to be really nice. Obviously, we're leaving a lot of materials on the ground, so very happy to see that. And then we can take a fertilizer. Terrified Onion, I currently have 4 speed, so I think I should take the Terrified Onion, but then Propeller Hat and Fin we will buy. We're still going to be at negative luck, but at least the Propeller Hat will offset that somewhat. Walking into every attack this wave, so I should try not to do that, probably. Luckily, our consumable heal is high enough to just bring us back to full health almost immediately. I'm quite concerned at this point about the elite waves. These are usually the hardest for Mage, because all your damage is dealt slowly over time in 1-second increments, so you just don't have the ability to really focus damage on a specific enemy, like an elite. And for this character, I think it's even worse, because the Lightning Shiv does not do good single target damage, and we're pretty behind in terms of our damage output, so we're not going to be able to kill the elite. That means we're going to need the defensive stats to survive it, so I'm a little concerned about trying to get there. We'll definitely take 2 elemental damage here, that's perfect. I could take 5 crit chance as well, and I think we will do that. Piggy Bank, it's too late for Piggy Bank to be good, so we're going to pass on that. I will take a bag. Sunken Bell could be kind of interesting. It will allow us to clear a lot of enemies if we start to get overwhelmed, but we're going to pass on that, I think. I'm going to take Pocket Factory for sure. Small Fish is not that good for this character, because again, our damage is dealt slowly over time, so we're going to pass on the Small Fish, but we will buy a Lightning Shiv. But do I want Black Belt first? I guess I can buy both. So we'll take a Shiv and a Black Belt. And Strange Book is a lot of engineering. We only get it at half rate, but we do have a Pocket Factory and a turret. So let's do the Strange Book thing. It's not going to be a major component of our strategy, but it will help us clear the wave. I'd really love to see another Scared Sausage. That's the item that we're missing the most. Right now, with only 25% chance of setting enemies on fire, we're just not doing that very frequently. With 1 more Scared Sausage, that would really go a long way towards boosting our damage output. Also, now that we have Lumberjack Shirt and Pocket Factory, if we can find a tree, that would massively increase our clear speed and the efficiency of those items. Even just 1 tree makes such a huge difference with that combo. Also, I'd love to have increased enemy spawns, because we're making okay income per wave, but not great, and increased enemy spawns would be one of the best ways to fix that. So a mouse would be probably the #1 item that we could find at this point. Unfortunately, I really want the elemental damage or the percent damage, but I think we just have to take the max HP. Our max HP is too low, and then we will take some attack speed. Nail, Strange Book and Nail does give us additional damage scaling. Now, I believe the Nail will only apply to the actual attack damage of the of the shivs, not the additional damage from the projectiles, but let's, I suppose, find out. Yeah, so it only applies to the actual attack damage, but that's still a decent increase to our damage output with the nail. And here I'll take the dangerous bunny and the cake, and then we'll do a reroll. Starfish, I think, is maybe too dangerous for this character. We've got only 3 armor. But we are pretty behind economically, so I think we're going to grab the starfish. I think we have to take some risks here. I wish I could buy the flamethrower. We're just going to run away from the elite. We're going to focus on killing these rib cages before they get too fast and overwhelm us. This elite, we will have a hard time fully running away from, but we're definitely never killing it. So we're just going to focus on clearing the other enemies. Took a hit there, but our consumable heal is really good, so we can heal back up very quickly. I don't know why I walked into that attack. Okay, I need to be a little more careful here. I've walked into several attacks in a row. So we're going to try to back out. We're also not getting that lucky on consumables right now, although I have reduced my luck a lot, so that's not particularly surprising. This tree and that one that dropped should hopefully be enough health to see us through the wave without putting us in too much danger. Slightly bad movement there, cost me some money, but we made it through. Now that I have the nail and everything, I will take the pencil. We only get 1 engineering from it, but it's still a reasonable damage increase for us. And then let's take the elemental damage. Percent damage, also really important, but right now my elemental damage is still super low. We'll grab 15 luck to get back to positive luck, which is really nice. We'll take the starfish. Do I take glass cannon also? How wild do we want to get? I think now that we've gotten starfish, I am going to take glass cannon. Then we can kill the enemies quickly. Snowball should be pretty good for us. We'll definitely take a turret. Triangle of power. Well, I've got starfish and glass cannon, so I can't afford to take hits anyways, so we'll grab that. I'm not going to take the alien tongue. We do want pickup range, but I just don't think that we can afford to buy that given the other items that we've found. I need to buy defensive stats rather than other economy items. Basically, have to fix our armor here. One reason I felt okay doing this is that we have a Horde on wave 15 and not, or wave 14 and not an elite. So our next boss wave is a Horde wave. If it was an elite wave, the starfish would be a lot more dangerous, but as is, that gives us a little bit more time before we have the most dangerous things that we're going to be facing. And we can hopefully fix our defensive stats to make up for the increased starfish damage. Starfish is a super, super risky item. I think that this one is actually kind of a trap. I used to think it was incredibly good because it gives you a massive amount of money, but 15% increased enemy damage is so dangerous that a lot of characters simply can't deal with it. I mean, you can see there, we almost died because I just took 3 hits. Pumpkin is kind of interesting, so we would take Sharp Bullet if we got it. So do I take the pumpkin in anticipation of maybe finding piercing shots? I think not. We'll just take 23 materials instead. Definitely need armor here to fix the armor loss that we took. Take the fish hook, we'll take the snowball, we'll take triangle of power. The snowball wasn't... obviously, snowball takes a long time to pay off typically, but you need all the elemental damage you can get, and on the mage, you get 25% more, so snowball is a little better for the mage. We'll take the boiling water and the laser turret, lock a garden, and then do a reroll, and there's some percent damage, which we definitely need as well. One more scared sausage, and a bunch more armor, and I think we're in pretty good shape. Triangle of Power we're taking because we really needed the percent damage. It's, of course, more difficult for this character not to tank hits than a bunch of other characters, because we don't really have the damage to defend ourselves easily. But the Triangle of Power, we shouldn't take enough hits to make it cost us damage frequently, and if we do, we're going to die anyways because of the starfish. And the extra damage and armor are really important to this character, so the triangle is going to be very nice, I think. So like here, for example, we've taken 2 hits so far, so we're still up 16% damage total, and that's what's allowing us to actually clear these enemies. Trying to pick up some of these materials that are on the ground. But we're only leaving like 40, so it's really not that bad. A Horde wave, when we have Triangle of Power, do we want bait? I think we still do. I'll take a couple hits, so it will reduce my damage output at the start of the wave, but the percent damage is really important. And then here I'm going to roll. I'm looking for armor if I can find it. Max HP would also be really nice, so I'll just grab that. And then 20 luck would be really good also, but we've got to take armor going into the Horde wave here. Definitely increasing my regen. We'll take some more healing, and here's the mouse that we've been looking for. This will increase our damage, our economy significantly, and also give us a bunch of lifesteal helping us heal. We'll take boiling water as well, which also works with the snowball. I will buy tardigrade because we have Triangle of Power. Normally I'm not a huge fan of this item, but with Starfish and Triangle of Power, it can be really hard to heal back up. With Starfish, it can be really hard to heal back up the damage that you take, because you take so much damage. So the tardigrade will often block real damage and not just fake damage that you're going to immediately heal, which is often the problem with this item. And then also we have Triangle of Power, so it basically is like buying 2% damage for most waves as well. Not the biggest deal, but definitely relevant. We're going to move away from the lampreys here. Tanked 1 hit, but that's okay. Obviously, it's going to be very difficult for us not to spawn the goobers, because we have a bouncing weapon. But hopefully our shots will bounce to them enough that we can just keep the field relatively clear and not have to dodge infinite projectiles. We do also have the advantage that a Horde wave on wave 14, enough Horde aliens can spawn that the goobers will just start despawning, so there won't be a smaller percentage of the enemies on the field will be the summons, so we're not going to have as many projectiles to deal with. This wave is going to be challenging to maintain our triangle damage, but that's okay. We just need to survive it. I'm going to run through the middle here and pick up some materials before the end of the wave. I don't need the harvesting at all. I could take 1 elemental damage, but I feel like we can do better, and we can. Let's take 2 lifesteal here. Then I will take the tardigrade and the lucky charm. We'll roll decomposing flesh. I will grab. We've got double scar, so we should be able to get a few more levels here. And the lifesteal is very, very relevant. Finally, another scared sausage. We've been looking for this forever. Very happy to see that. We've got negative dodge, so we can't really use the peaceful bee, but we can definitely use a fuel tank. That's one of the best items we could find. Immediately lost my tardigrade there, but sometimes you play bad. And it is very difficult not to tank hits on this character because our actual weapon attacks don't do that much damage. Although the nail is really coming in handy. The, like, 10 damage that we're doing with our weapon attacks is helping us actually clear enemies that are adjacent to us much more easily, thanks to the nail. So the Strange Book nail combo, obviously not at its best on this character or anything like that, but it's doing reasonably well for us. Got that loot alien kill. Procking another factory turret, which is great. And there we go. Managed to pick up all those materials. Tragically, we can't take wings. Range is not awful on Lightning Shiv, because of course you want to hit enemies while they're further away, but we can't reduce our elemental damage. I'll take 4% lifesteal, that's great, and then now we'll take 2 elemental damage. I still can't use dodge, so I don't really need the blindfold. Let's take the poisonous tonic, though, even at the cost of regeneration. Rip and tear, we don't want. Bait, we can grab, though. Toxic sludge, great. I will say the snowball's working very well. Because Mage is tagged with elemental, we're going to find elemental stuff more in the shop. So the snowball will be a little better for this character. Even so, it's still only gotten us 4 elemental damage, but that's still a reasonable amount. I'm going to pick up the defective steroids. Yes, we can't use the melee damage at all, but 60 for 2 HP is fine for this character. We really need HP. And then got another lightning shiv. Spyglass we don't have a use for, so we won't grab it. It just will not pay off in time. I really need to make another Brotato item tier list so I can put Spyglass in D tier, because it's not a good item for Danger 5. It's obviously great for Endless, but that'll really drive engagement. Some YouTube channel optimization strategies. People are very attached to that item because I think they spend so much time thinking about it for endless mode runs that they don't have a good sense of whether it's good or not for 20 wave runs. Coil is great. We actually really wanted to find some knockback on this character, and of course more damage is good. And then here, I'm just going to take 12 HP. Going up to 70 HP means we're in much better shape now. We'll grab the penguin, we'll take the broken mouth, we'll roll again. Eye surgery is a nice one. This is more elemental damage, and of course, faster burning damage is good for this character as well. Losing 2 knockback will also cost us 2% damage with the coil now. And we have 75 HP, I don't think we really need to worry about that. Scar should get us maybe 1 level, which is worth doing. 1 level is worth spending 76 on. Dangerous Bunny we can grab, and then Weird Food, and then we can roll here, and another Scar. Will that get us a level? Probably not, so we're going to lock the Lightning Shiv and buy Gentle Alien, and then go to wave 17, and we'll pass on another Scar here. Gentle Alien, so I might have bought the Scar if the Gentle Alien wasn't in that shop, but Gentle Alien was going to be worth more in terms of economy than the Scar was anyways, and when we're delaying the Scar for another wave, it's much worse, so it meant that we just didn't want to lock it. Would have loved to get another baby gecko. We're still gonna struggle to pick up all the materials on the map, of course. Now that we have a second scared sausage, though, you can see our wave clear has gotten wildly better with another scared sausage, because the turrets and everything are just so much more consistent at setting enemies on fire. Yep, we'll take a bat. More lifesteal is good. We obviously don't want celery tea, and there we go. 3 more armor. That's what we've been looking for this whole time. We will probably be able to use the coupon, so I am going to buy coupon. I've honestly totally forgotten that we have fishhook. I don't remember if we've locked any items and just the fishhook hasn't worked, or if I've just been forgetting to lock items for the fishhook. I completely forgot we had it. But obviously the Cursed Lightning Shiv is great. I'm going to take the book here, because it's +1 damage on all of our weapons with the... Oh, no, it's not quite. It gets us up to almost 5 engineering, which would be +1 damage on all of our weapons. When our engineering is divisible by 5, it increases our weapon damage, thanks to the nail. Here we are going to combine up to a level 4 Lightning Shiv, and buy the level 1. We'll take the Alien Worm still, we'll roll again, I'll take another Gentle Alien, that's just more things to lifesteal off of, and I'll grab the Snail as well, that can help keep us alive against the Elite. Let's do one more reroll here. Structures can crit, kind of interesting for this character. Our damage output from the structures is actually not bad with 24 engineering, so let's take the pile of books, and this is mostly a for fun pick, but having all of those synergies all working at once I think is kind of cool. I'm going to try to do drive-bys on this Elite to bounce lightning off to the other enemies on the field, while keeping consistent DPS on the Elite, but it looks like we simply don't have the damage to kill it. We'll find out, but yeah, so it's 30 seconds in, it's still well over half HP, so no chance of killing the elite. This is kind of the classic mistake of deciding halfway through the wave that you can't fight the elite and changing your mind. Luckily with this guy, it's very easy to dodge if you just move in a circle around it, so there's no real risk to trying to fight it, because this elite has an extremely predictable movement pattern. This is one of the ones that's most difficult for new players and easiest for veteran players once you learn the movement pattern. It looks like we could have killed it if I'd focused damage on it more, but we couldn't have because our damage simply isn't damage that you can focus on the elite, so we just didn't have the DPS to kill it there. I'll take the pile of books. Missile I could take. We have 40 attack speed. I think we will. More percent damage is really nice. Another coil is really good also. Roll here. I'll take another tardigrade, and we will definitely grab energy bracelet and the medal as well, going into wave 19. I doubt we're going to kill the bosses unless we maybe get super lucky and roll into Greek Fire or Giant Belt. Though the bosses, ironically, are a little easier for Lightning Shiv to kill than elites are, because you can hit one boss, have the lightning bounce to the other boss, and then back to the boss you're hitting pretty consistently. So you can actually get more single target damage because there are two high health enemies on the field. It gives you a little bit more opportunity to actually trigger the lightning bounces. So Lightning Shiv is weirdly quite a bit better at fighting the bosses than it is at fighting elites. Kind of just pick up the last few materials, because of course we're going to leave some on the ground and we're going into the last wave. It's wave 19, so no use for fishhook. I'll take 5 crit chance, and let me take, I guess, only 2 engineering, but that's still worth grabbing. Here we'll take a medal and an energy bracelet. Okay, the fishhook came in handy. Gonna roll here. Ritual I'll take as well, just lifesteal and damage is good, and then we'll do a reroll again. Unfortunately, almost none of these things are worth anything, but I'll take the Cyclops Worm. Cyberball is a way that we could deal a little extra damage to the bosses, so we'll do that. And we'll take the Campfire. Incendiary Turret actually could have been better than the Cyberball, so maybe the Cyberball was a bit goofy. And Lightning Shiv would have been really nice, but we wouldn't have been able to afford that anyways, so just from some for fun rerolls. And let's see if we have the damage to kill the bosses. I doubt it, but maybe we can give it a go. Looking like we actually do, though of course my damage is going to decrease because we have Triangle of Power. But you can really see the thing that I was talking about where you attack one boss and the damage bounces between them, increasing the DPS to both of them because they both exist. That's really coming into play here, so you can see why I say that Lightning Shiv is better for the bosses than it is for elite, because there's more than one of them. Also, the nail has been really good for increasing our single target damage output. I should be trying to fight the other boss. The octopus boss, it's very hard as a melee character to damage it without taking damage. So it's hitting our Triangle of Power quite heavily. But we did manage to kill the bosses, and there we go. That is a win with the Mage. That was a weird run, not exactly how I was expecting it to go, but a fairly clean one, and of course Lightning Shiv is always a super fun weapon to use, so we are a little over 3/4 of the way on our win streak now. Let's take a look at our items. 108,000 damage from the Scared Sausages, obviously awesome. Our Triple Scar got us to level 29, amazing. 4 Weird Foods gave us a lot of leeway to heal up, which was great. Only 1 item on the treasure map. That is truly horrific treasure map luck. We got this treasure map, wave 4, and got 1 item on it. We had very low luck, so we weren't finding that many crates, but that's still unreal bad treasure map luck. Yeah, so we got The bag we got after the treasure map, and bag gave us, we got 11 crates after we picked up this bag, and with a 20% chance of those 11 crates plus any that showed up in between here, we only got one item, so really bad treasure map luck. Coupons were great, of course, 434 materials saved. Ice Cube, awesome on any elemental build. The Pocket Factory worked out excellently, and the Strange Book Nail combo actually was pretty nice. It increased the base damage of our weapons a lot, so we ended up with actually quite solid damage, thanks to 31 engineering, boosting the damage of our weapons here. Dangerous Bunnies saved us 242, but it's actually a lot more than that because they make subsequent rerolls cheaper. Snowball gave us 7 elemental damage, definitely on the low end. Snowball always, I mean, this was still a good item, don't get me wrong. Buying the Snowball and picking up 7 elemental damage from it is great. We're happy to have done that. But given that we're the mage buying every elemental damage item we see, you would still expect this to be more. So Snowball continuing to just be a little underwhelming most of the time when you buy it. Laser Turret gave us 26,000 damage, plus a lot of setting things on fire, which is great. The mouse was awesome. The double tardigrade worked out very well in combination with Triangle of Power, which also ended up being an excellent purchase. And I do not regret the Starfish Glass Cannon pickup. That actually made the run much more exciting and gave us a lot more income, even if it made things a little riskier. The 7 lifesteal from Decomposing Flesh really helped keep us alive. The double coil was great at the end there. And Tentacle was also really nice. So overall, a fairly clean run. Could have gotten stronger with a little bit better luck on things like our treasure maps and earlier scared sausages and stuff. But overall, a very clean win. And we will definitely take it and put it in the win column. Only 30 more to go, I believe. So that's pretty exciting. All right, my friends, hope that you've enjoyed the video. And of course, as always, if you have, feel free to leave a comment and hit like. Helps me out with the algorithm, so I appreciate you taking the time to do that. And of course, you can subscribe to my channel for more Brotato and other strategy game analysis. Cheers, folks. I'll catch you next time.